Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about the DLC for Bloodborne. I know the DLC is kind of old. It's been a while, and I'm sure there's tons of video on it. But I wanted to do my little spin, my little take on it, and I'm mainly just gonna be talking about the bosses themselves, whether I liked them, the design, the difficulty, and stuff like that. So spoiler alert, if uh, if you guys are wanting to do the DLC and you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and click off. But if you're just curious about my opinion on it and what I think, then stick around and feel free in the comments to let me know what your favorite bosses were in the DLC or in any in the Bloodborne in general. I think there's some really good bosses in the main game too. But with that being said, let's jump right in. Okay, so one of the first bosses I'm going to be talking about is Lawrence, the first Vicar. He, um, I don't remember the lore on him, but I think he was one of the scholars with the other dude that's in the rocking chair. I think they were like both working on like the blood or something like that. But I don't know much about his background other than he was mentioned in the main game. But he's a beast imbued in fire, and uh, so far not a bad design. I mean, he kind of reminds me of the cleric beast, but just like on fire. Um, there is a nice little twist once you get him. I want to say below half health, where he like loses his bottom half and he just starts spewing molten hot lava like all over you. Uh, which and he also leaves like a lava snail trail, which got kind of annoying at first because it's you're trying to get in and hit him, but then you're getting kind of like stunned locked into this like these little puddles of lava. uh Difficulty scaling, I think from 1 through 10, 1 being not so hard and 10 being very hard. I want to say maybe I'm gonna give him a 6. A bit of a challenge. Just like you need to uh watch out for the lava basically, and kind of just watch out for his arm too, because it has an insane reach. um, and I think one of his roars that he does whenever the intro when you see the cutscene, why does that screech sound so familiar? I can't put my finger quite on it, but I want to say it's got to be one of the earlier bosses. But I can't think of which one. But the screech just sounds kind of familiar. Uh, but yeah, other than that, like a 6 out of 10. He's a bit of a challenge, but nothing too hard. But yeah, that's it for this one. All right, so now this next boss is gonna be Ludwig, um, the church hunter or whatever his title name is. Uh, Personally, I had a hard time with this boss. I don't know if it was because I just couldn't get his movements down, or maybe I just wasn't really locked in, or what, but he was very hard to fight in my experience. Very difficult to fight. I I'm gonna give him like an 8 out of 10 for me on the difficulty. 10 being really hard, 1 being not so difficult. But yeah, he wrecked my shit, man. In both first phase, second phase, I I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't really treating him like the other bosses that are bigger, where you just kind of have to circle around and hit his legs and just keep going around. But I couldn't figure it out. I had to use I had to use a summon, just to kind of draw like the aggression, and eventually I got him. Not my proudest moment, but it nonetheless it got me through. Um, I like his design. He's like a horse thing. He was kind of, his face is all messed up, and he gets a cool weapon. He whips out a really cool weapon in his second phase, which is the weapon that I was wanting to get in the DLC because I liked how it looked. The Moonlight Greatsword. I think during this time in this video, during the streaming of this video, I had this weird obsession of like, oh man, I want to collect all the Moonlight Greatswords in all of the Souls series. And so with that, I was like, you know what, I want to get it from here. I think the Moonlight Greatsword is also uh in 2. I don't remember if it's in Dark Souls 1, or I know it's in Elden Ring. I don't remember if it's in Dark Souls 3. I think it is. But nonetheless, I went on this weird kick that I wanted to look for the Moonlight Greatsword. And, you know, this was also my first time doing the DLC. So, two birds, one stone type deal. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't know much about Ludwig's lore. Um, I want to give his design like a good 7 out of 10. I didn't, maybe an 8. Maybe it's up there on his difficulty scale. He was very hard, but yeah. Other than that, cool boss, fun boss. Okay, so now the next boss in this fight, they have an interesting name, but they're called the Living Failures. I don't know why they're called that. I would love to know if you guys like know the lore behind them, or if there's a video y'all want to send me to check out as to why they're called that, or what they even are. I'm all in. But yeah, as as far as difficulty goes, I give them a 3 out of 10, meaning that one, they were a bit of a challenge, but nothing too hard. I think I beat them on my second or third try. Um, as far as the difficulty goes, and then like the design, I mean, like I said, they are just weird looking, I guess. uh I don't know much about them. uh I guess I want to give it like a 2 in their design. um the combat is the way that it's set up is not bad. You have uh, a mix of them where you have like some that fight you at close range, and then you have some that blast emit force at you. uh, and then there's this one move that kind of really just like kind of ties it all together. It's where they launch like comets or something. It changes the background of the area that you're fighting them in into this weird almost galaxy space space-esque like type of background, and the comments just start coming out of the sky. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was pretty cool. I liked that special effect on them. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about these guys. But that's it for these. Yeah, Living Failures, weird name still. All right. Next on the list is Lady Maria. Now, I got some mixed feelings about her. I love her design. I love her outfits. I love her weapons that she um, whips out, especially when she does this thing where she snaps them in two, and the sound of it is just so crispy. I'm gonna try to see if I can give you that little snippet of that audio in the video, so just so you know what I'm talking about. It's just so nice, so crisp, so clean. Ugh.
Only an honest death will kill you now.
That sound, oof, so clean, right? So as far as she goes in design, like solid 10, like 10 out of 10. I love her design. Um, and this is gonna be weird. As far as her difficulty goes, it's a 1. 1 out of 10. Low one being so easy, 10 being very hard. Like she, I beat her on my first try, and I did not expect that to happen. I thought she was gonna be a lot more aggressive than at least I thought she was gonna be a bit more aggressive. You know, applying pressure on you, being in and out, dashing in and out. But I just, yeah, she just wasn't that hard. Not to say that she wasn't like fun to fight against. She was definitely a really fun boss, but it's just it felt too easy for me, especially when I feel like a lot of people hyped her up so much that I'm like expecting, oh, okay, I'm gonna be stuck on her for like forever, right? No, I beat her on my first try, and you know, she might have been difficult for some people, but for me, in my experience, she was just easy. You know, I was getting parries off her, and uh, at least in her first phase, I don't know so much about her second, but yeah, I was just kind of bummed, I guess, at how easy she was. Uh, but maybe I don't know if that was like her intended design or whatnot. I do like the phases she like puts out. I think it's like kind of like three. She kind of like transforms a little bit, gets different move sets, and I'm like, oh shit. And I think that's what makes her fun to fight is because it gets all these. It changes up. It changes the pace, and it's like, oh man, this is so cool. Like I love all the things that they put on her. But again, just very easy boss, and like I said, I had an easy time with her, and I would definitely say one of the funnest bosses in this DLC. I guess I kind of wish they just kind of dialed up her difficulty by just a smidgen, you know, maybe give her a bit more damage or maybe have her be a little more aggressive, just turning up the dial a little bit. That's all, nothing too crazy. But yeah, again, just because she's on the lower end for the difficulty, that does not mean I didn't have fun uh, with fighting her. I had a blast. Great boss, amazing boss. Okay, now for the final boss of this DLC. First off, I want to talk about the journey of getting to this final boss. It was buns towards the very end. In the beginning, you know, you're going through Fishing Hamlet, I think is the name of the area. You're it's pretty easy, you know, you fight some fish people and a few enemies here and there. You fight like a giant fish with no eyes. You know, it wasn't difficult at first, but the further you got in, the harder it got. They started throwing. I feel like in the end they just started throwing random enemies at the very end, like those one enemies that cause frenzy. They put two of them roughly like 10 feet from each other. And I'm just like, bro, what? I gotta wait for you to go over here. I gotta kill you and then kill your friend so that way I don't get frenzied. But, you know, I just ended up like making it harder than it needed to be. So I just bolted past through, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I got out of one hole and then got into another. Those giant big fish people without their eyes. There was two of them in this tiny little. I guess it's not really tiny, but in this circle, basically. I killed them both, and you do get a weapon out of beating both of them, or maybe you just have to kill the one. I don't know, but I killed them both, and it dropped a weapon, and I'm like, okay, cool, kind of worth it, not too bad, but uh yeah, towards the beginning and a little bit of the middle was kind of easy. Towards the end, awful. It was it was tough. I had a hard time getting through that last bit of the area. Um, but now on to what's his name? Forgot his name. Orphan of Cause. Does that mean he a child of Cause? Or like what does that mean? Uh, I from a difficulty like he was hard. Uh, 10 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. He was very hard. And I don't know what my problem was when fighting him. I did see a video when someone was fighting him and they made it look so easy. They were getting like the parries off him and getting the viscerals, and I was like, "Oh, okay, they made it look so easy. I got this." So I'm trying to recreate that like some the recreate the that kind of video, but as you can see, I am getting decimated, and I kept getting decimated like back to back. He was very difficult. Um, at least during his second phase, he was still he just got harder. He kept moving around more, swinging violently. Uh, First phase, you know, once you get a few of the viscerals off, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm getting the you're getting a feel, you're getting the pace of it. Um, and then you'll find openings where he like does like a heavy slam and you come up, do a heavy charge attack and you stagger him and get another visceral. You know, you find those kinds of windows, but it was very hard for me, especially with the saw cleaver. I think I was just like too short to hit him. And then I ended up switching to like the Moonlight Greatsword. That's the weapon that I used to beat him just because it had a longer reach for the charge move. And yeah, I ended up taking him out with the visceral. So it was like a clean final hit. I was very proud of myself. Uh, so then with his design, I don't know. I too simple, I guess. I don't know if that's like a valid compliment, but he just very simple. Like he's just all white with a red, you know, uh, weird weapon. I don't even know what you would call that, chained weapon. And I did not like his voice. He sounded like a screeching monkey. And I don't know if that was his design or if that's what he intended to sound like, but yeah, I did not. His voice got annoying. His screeches got annoying. So it made it a bit difficult to deal with, just because you keep hearing that over and over again. But you know, eventually, we persevered. We made it through. We beat him, and yeah. As far as like difficulty, again, 10 out of 10. Very very challenging for me. Uh, and then as far as the design goes, give it a 3. You know, you do get a weapon for beating him, but this is like my personal take on the weapon. I don't think it's worth it. Because I think in the main game, the later bosses, it's not that strong against. I think it's good or mid or early to mid game, because I think the final bosses you fight, they're not weak to like arcane, so it's kind of difficult to use late game. And it scales strictly with just arcane, so you can make a build off that. But if you guys know more about this weapon, let me know in the comments in the video. I would love to read them. And yeah, that about wraps it up for my video. Uh, I enjoyed the DLC. It was fun. I love Bloodborne, one of my favorite games to ever come out. I hate that Sony did the DMCA on the modders for, you know, trying to bring the game to PC. It's just so sad to me that a major company is like just essentially putting their foot over the smaller people that have passion for this game and want to see a sequel, a DLC, you know, a remaster, remake, whatever, you know. And Sony just comes through with a big boot, and I'm just like, man, we could never have nothing nice. Uh, but with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If you liked my video, please subscribe. I'm going to try to do more of these reviews of just like random things, DLCs. I'm going to be doing a movie one here pretty soon. I'm going to be doing more reviews of video games, just adding my personal opinion on it. And yeah, if you guys like to see more of that, please subscribe. I also will be streaming the games that I'm going to be reviewing on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Ben the Greatest, BENN, and then the greatest. I'm gonna put the link to my Twitch in the video description if you guys want to check it out and you want to chat with me. I would love to see you guys there, chat with y'all in my Twitch channel, and you can also voice your opinion to me on my Twitch channel if you like, or in the comments in the video below. Either or is fine with me. But that's it. Thank you all so much again for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.